everybody, welcome back to PT Launch Lab, and today I am joined by Jerome. How we doing, mate? Are we well?
Yeah,
Thanks for coming over. So just at a glance, obviously we try and look at everybody that comes in and just try and get an idea, so we've got some talk points. So former Royal Marines, you've got a number of years experience in other sports, powerlifting. How long have you been in the industry now, fitness?
Started PT in 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
So was that, how much of a gap between you leaving the military to get into the fitness industry? Was it the first thing you did, or did you find it?
No, I left the military in 2014 and then I worked for the American government till 2018 in Afghanistan. Money, gun, gold and drugs.
So why transition into PT from there? Because I imagine the money was good.
Yeah, the money was good, but I didn't want that life anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You live in an abnormal life, but you think it's normal. It's not normal to do that anymore. And you kind of leave the Marines and you think you know everything, but you just lived in this little protected bubble. Since I was a teenager, I joined as a teenager. I spent all my 20s there, most of my 30s. I'd never been to a coffee shop. I'd never been out for a meal.
Normal life.
Yeah, you don't understand what that is.
Yeah.
And then you leave and you come. Well, I came to York to live in my brother's sofa because I know where to go. You live on your sofa and you still think you're in the Corps, but everybody thinks this guy's got something wrong with him, but you're just trying to still be who you think you should be.
So, I mean, I've always been interested in people leaving the military, not necessarily just being in there, but leaving.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to reacclimate to normal life, or what we consider normal life, to be present in that?
Whoa. I would say I'm still doing that now.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm a lot better. I'd go with 8 years ago, I met my missus, who are currently married, and she proper saved me. She's great in my way. I haven't drank alcohol for coming on 9 years now, so I stopped that.
Fantastic. I know you like
got a dachshund.
Yeah.
A dog will help you.
Yeah.
But it's that Peter Pan life, and I like to write, so I wrote this PDF, just sits on my laptop, and I call it the Neverland Theory. And when you're in the military or the Corps, you live the Peter Pan life. You're chasing Tinkerbells around Plymouth. You go into pubs, you're eating buffet. It's just a game. And then you go on tour, you do your thing on tour, you come back, and it's just this reconditioning of the cycle. Go chase Captain Hook, come back, chase Tinkerbell. And then when you leave that bubble and Peter has to come back to the reality of life, he doesn't really know what to do. And the people you knew at that time, they either stay or go, or they go back to where they come from, which is some random place in Britain or Scotland usually, and you just left on your own.
So when you moved into fitness then, did it sort of fill some of those gaps that you felt were missing in terms of, because I imagine you were a very disciplined person in a lot of ways, and I can't imagine there were many jobs out there that were going to fulfill that need. So is that why you chose fitness?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. When you're a bootneck, all you know is fizz, fighting.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you got three options.
So I chose fizz. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I chose fizz, and I quickly realized that nobody wants to join the Royal Marines and they don't want to be trained like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't even have a business. This isn't even a business. I'm just trying to give people a workout. And I'll go into like the evolution of where I'm at now to where I began, because I always look back on this sliding scale of the ecosystem of where we sit as trainers, coaches, educators. And then you've got your top 1% you talked about that, might be training Manchester United or Leeds Rhinos. At the beginning, I was just giving workouts. I was like, my first ever client, she worked as the house. She was in charge of the cake. It's like this, with its, to basically roll out food that they want to put into the bigger shops.
Yeah.
I absolutely thrashed her and nothing changed. And then she was like, I don't know what this is. And I was like, I don't know what this is either. So I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
And then you just have to try and figure that out. And it wasn't actually till I met the missus and she was like, you could be a lot better. You just need to look at what it is you want to do. And she pushed me into the idea that I could be better and I could go and get education. And so I just started from that moment, going to whoever was at the top, expedite that process, same as the military. If you can join the Royal Marines or the Parachute Regiment, join them. Why not? So apply that to, you know, who is going to be the foremost guy in that field that I need education from, and that's where I started.
Do you think obviously we are an education company. How important is education when it comes to a professional service like this?
I think you have the two sides of the coin. I think you need the education to start in the industry. You need to understand what this is, you know? I think the more you develop, you need more education because you're going to push into what it is that you want to do more of. But experience on the floor and training lots of different people and understanding what that looks like, will it push you forward? But don't mistake experience for knowledge, because somebody might have been on the floor for 20 years, but their knowledge is still 20 years ago. And there's a lot of that.
Yep. It's a really interesting topic because a lot of the time when we're speaking to brand new people that are coming in to learn, what they want to do is they want to understand everything that's in that textbook. And don't get me wrong, if that is something you're into, fantastic, absorb it all. But the reality is, and I treat it a lot like passing your test and driving. You can do the theory side, you can smash that, you can pass your test with flying colours, but you don't know how to drive. You need to get out there and do stuff. And I think when it comes into the fitness industry, you obviously, I know that you've got a hot take on this, but the industry today, I feel like, has taken a couple of back steps in this manner because we're too now reliant on social media as a face. I think AI, people are using it in a way that replaces their train of thought. They're trying to replace their effort level. And we're leaving out the actual emotional side to training people because, again, we can train people all day and give them programs and give them nutrition. But if you give that to 100 people, less than 20 would probably follow through with it
Yeah.
because they don't understand why.
Yeah. People forget it's called personal training.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's so when you started pushing yourself towards this then and the evolution, what have you learned in your time of being a personal trainer or some lessons that you had during that process?
Biggest lessons are probably humility,
Mm.
because you learn one thing, you keep applying it, but it doesn't mean you know everything. And not one thing lasts forever, and not one thing works for everybody. I think you have to be true to yourself as well. You shouldn't get lost up in the light box or the black mirror, because that'll only reflect on what it is that wants to show you.
Explain that to me then. So what do you mean by these two concepts? I know you were going to choose one. So what do you mean by these concepts? The light box and the black mirror.
Oh, that's the phone, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
you know, essentially, it's just the light box, just a box of light. Doesn't really mean anything. It's just showing you pictures of what it is you think your own reality is.
Yeah.
And the Black Mirror is a program that was on BBC Two, I believe, or Channel 4,
Yeah.
where it was like a paradigm universe of what people were seeing when they were living. And there's this idea where you look on social media, any of the platforms really, and it'll just reflect on what you want to see. And I think that's become detrimental to a lot of things. It's a powerful tool, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
It has so many benefits, but it can also come. It's like with anything, you know. If you overtake medication, it's not medication anymore. It becomes something that's harmful. And you know, even to this day, ever since having my daughter, for instance, I had to really try and understand a lot more about how much I use my phone. Because you know, when you're self-employed, you're always working, your brain's always working. I noticed it without even knowing. I was looking at my phone for updates, even notifications that weren't mattering to me anymore. I was checking for notifications, and you're seeking the next step, the next approval, the next buzz, and you realize you separate yourself from the real world.
Yeah.
You know, and I think everyone gets hooked on that. I think no one is 100% clean from that. I
No.
don't think you can be. It's not the way the world works
Mhm.
now. But especially like with how you explained it, the light box theory is we can put it down at any time, and whatever's on there is what we chose to see and what the algorithm tells you they want to see.
Yeah.
And so you were talking a little bit about how you worked with your clients and tried to get them to realize some of these negative aspects of that.
Yeah.
What was your idea and how did you run that?
What I used to do was, and I still do now, but I do it through a spreadsheet, is I build a wheel, and we have the 6 pillars that hold up the wheel, essentially. And if you can't fill those 6 pillars of who you are and what it is that you want, then you have something missing in your life, or you have something missing in your purpose. Because we all have passion, we all have purpose, but without that, you're not able to take them forward. Because, like I said to you in the beginning, is like the gym is just a bunch of stuff in a room. It's plastic and metal, and it's how you apply what it is you want to do with it to get the result. But sometimes the result is bigger than we are just going to do X amount of sets and reps. The result in them having a stronger purpose for what it is that they want is what gives them that drive. So usually people will say things like family, children, but they'll lack the ability to fill all 6 gaps. They'll put the things they class as the most important to them first, and then they lack usually the ability to say themselves.
Yeah. What does it do for you? This room with stuff in it.
The gym.
Mm.
Do you know what? In the beginning, when I was younger, I used to love going to the gym. You know, like the feeling of like working out, you feel great, and then you get a bit older and a couple years older, and you get to like mid-40s. And I'll be honest, I don't have that pure passion to go in the gym all of the time, but I need the idea that I need a structure and a routine. Otherwise, what am I going to do?
Do you feel like that is going to be the case for? I feel like most personal trainers have this opinion, unless you are someone who's probably might be in a sport, competing against something. Everyone asked me this, and everyone assumed it's about a personal trainer because you work in a gym, because you are always around. It's like you've always got time to work out. Like it's actually the biggest crux ever because you spend enough time there, you don't want to be there anymore. So I get the exact feeling. I think no one really considers that aspect is when you turn your play into work,
Yeah.
it doesn't become as fun. And you're doing it for, like you say, you understand the benefits. So then you actually put yourself in the position of a like almost a beginner client in a way. You
Yeah, you
teach them the
do.
value of it first, and you know the value. You just have to
Yeah.
practice it. And we actually had this interesting conversation about if the trainer isn't practicing what they preach,
Mhm.
should they be practicing?
I've met some amazing trainers, coaches, and educators that don't really train, so I don't think you need to. Not if you, not if you've implemented that over a large space of your time. Do you need to train 5 days a week? No. Could you train once or twice? Yes. There's a guy called Michael Golden, absolute genius. And I went down to London and I did a whole day workshop with him. He's an RTS instructor. Bloke's not trained for like 10 years probably. But he says, I only need 20 minutes to train because I'm so into tune what I need. But the knowledge that he can give you, and that's all he's really bothered about now, is passing on knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give one, pass it on. He's in his 50s. Does he still need to train? And does he still want to? He's been doing it since he was 15.
But do you agree that you have got to have walked the walk at some point?
Yeah, I think you have to walk the walk. I think you can't tell somebody how to squat 250 if you haven't done yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's yeah, I agree with that, and it always comes down. The conversation that always happens on social media now is, should you be able to be trained by an out of shape personal trainer? And I think that's always an interesting conversation because what do you consider that out of shape to be? Because the aesthetical the profile of personal training, think about it, it's usually, tats, big muscles, or whatever the woman equivalent is that. That's not 100% necessary because they could be giving you more value than somebody who's steadier off the nut, who doesn't actually know how the body works. They've either got incredibly lucky or incredibly genetically gifted, and you can't prescribe that. There's no method for naturally having the ability to build muscle a bit easier, or you can maintain a body fat at a lower level. And that's not really what fitness is about. And obviously, this is another side to it with the social media. It's really skewed the idea
Yeah.
of what fitness actually is. What does it mean to be in shape?
Yeah. That's because perception is reality, isn't it? People perceive that that is what it is, so they perceive that as the reality of what they need.
Yeah, it's a gold bar.
Yeah, totally. And I don't think it's true.
Why do your clients come to you? What do you think is your training philosophy that works?
I think for me, what I want to do is have people come to me because they feel like it's going to be a longer journey. I'm not about 6 weeks, I'm not about 8 weeks. And there's nothing wrong with that. People are doing that. That's cool, man. That's their thing. It's not my thing. And usually a lot of my clients either have come from trainers previous. They've usually come with injuries or, discomfort in joints and things like that. So you have that return to play protocol, and I get a lot of that as well. And then they stay because the process is interactive, where everything is layered, because it has to be a layering process, like we talked about, is complexity upon complexity, because the human is the most complex organism in the world. And it's not that easy just to train somebody.
No.
Because anybody could go and give somebody a workout, which I did in the beginning. I could go and get a 15-year-old lad from the football pitch and say, give this couple a really good workout, and he probably could do it. But then there's the layers, isn't there? There's somebody giving workouts, there's a personal trainer, there's a coach, there's an educator, and then there's the top 2%.
Yeah, this is where I find the problem with people going straight to online coaching, because you haven't built up the layer of actually dealing with emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Actually being able to understand how someone actually works. If you get that client who said they didn't complete that said workout this week and they say it's just because they didn't have time or they weren't feeling like it, to an untrained person, you're just lazy. You're not committing to this. You're not doing it. But, maybe it could be the fact that it's school holidays, her kids are driving her nuts and she's getting up too early to do it. And having that emotional intelligence to know that it's your passion, it's not theirs. They're doing this usually to accomplish something. And sometimes at the start, for many people, they're doing it out of a punishment sense. Like, I've got myself to this stage and I need to do this in order to feel better.
Yeah.
Eventually, the idea is you're doing it because you want to do it. You're doing it because it's a hobby. It's like going to play golf on a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym today and do this. I'm looking forward to it. But to get to that stage, you need to build the complexity of you're doing this for you. You're not doing this for anyone else. You're not doing this for any other reason. And this is why when someone comes to you and said, I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you want to lose weight?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just not feeling good about myself. But why? Was there a point that you felt good? Was there a point that you felt at your best?
I always like that question.
Yeah.
I always ask them that.
I call it 3 whys.
Yeah.
And it usually takes that layer and layer and layer, because when the times get hard and, the training gets more intense and you're more regular, because usually you have a good, and then you'll drop. Knowing the real reason why you're doing something is what keeps you up.
It's like, I talked to him about peeling the onion layers back. You peel it all the way back till you get to the core.
Yeah.
And that's what you do in the beginning with the 6 pillars. You see where they're lacking. And you pull it all back. Why?
Yeah, I had
There's just stuff in a room.
So there were a learner who were having conversations, because what we do is we try and get them working with people in the background of doing the course, because we want that practical element.
That's very cool.
And he said to me, he had this client and she was quite a nervous person. So he always had to train her a little bit later on in the day when it's less busy. And he says, she didn't want to complete an exercise that I put in the program, but it's a really important exercise. I said, what is an important exercise to you? There's no such thing as that. If you don't do this, you don't achieve X. anything that you do in the gym is fantastic because it's going to get something out of it. The important part is moving. And I says, well, just approach it differently. Ask her what she wants to do that day and let her tell you what she enjoys. Find out what she actually likes. You might be prescribing stuff that she doesn't like, or maybe she don't understand it enough. And I think training somewhere, and this is the reason why PT Lawrence Lab is what it is. It's not about being the best personal trainer, because there's plenty of PTs out there who have less technical knowledge than you, but are doing so much better because they're nice people.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's totally the way that the industry should be. We should have more conversations. We should be more of a community. We should have more passage of information. I can't believe this is the first time I met you. You're a cool guy.
Well,
I like this conversation.
Well, it's ever since you start podcasting where you actually get a chance to talk about it. I think a lot of people don't talk enough about this. And like, I agree with a lot of the things that you're saying because not enough people have these conversations.
You get lost in your job though, don't you? You turn up, you do your hours, you have to do your social media, which I'm terrible at, but I do try to be better. And then you go home and then you write programs and then you write this and you read books. Yes, I still read books. I don't know if sometimes I ask that to people. I'm like, "What's the last book you read?" And they're like, "Books." I'm like, you know those things.
Are you a
can
physical
go to
book
a
guy?
library and open?
Are you a Kindle or a physical book guy?
Yeah.
I just started getting back into reading in the last couple of years because the first time I read my daughter a story, I was fucking.
That's cute, man.
It was diabolical.
It's hard, isn't it? Because it's a skill.
Yeah. And reading aloud, I got that classroom sense back. I like, we had to stand up at the front. Even she was barely one and she was looking at me like, are you like, is something wrong with you? And I was like, I need to go back and read again. So I've got the Roald Dahl books at home. I'm smashing those. Not quite ready for the Art of War again yet. We'll get there. We'll go.
All right. But yeah, that's what I like about books. I was reading Programming by Tudor Bumper, and the level of detail in that book, you forget that people did it before you. People in the 80s, they didn't have the internet. They knew shit. And you look back on that and you think, there's still more and more new levels of this game, you know?
100%. And you know what? This actually just popped in my mind the other day. The biggest bullshit I still see is people selling their programs. Like, this is the 8-week program that got me to do this. You remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger released the book of all the training that he did to win all of his competitions, and he sold millions of these books because people were buying them and were like, oh, I can look like Arnie if I buy his book. And you think, well, that was in the 80s. People still do it now. You know,
I think that's a great conversation because you can sell your workouts to people, but it's not going to work because it's just a workout. Programming, that's a conversation that I do like because I do like programming. But programming is this thing where you could go and buy a really good program off the internet. Let's go. You're going to go buy a Jeff Nippard's program. You could do that. And then you could buy his nutrition package and probably get somewhere.
Yeah, cool.
Right? But the nuances are in the details. And is that nuanced for you? Is it the program for you at that time? Do you even understand it? That takes you back to the conversation about exercise. Is there a best exercise for that? And what I do with my guys is, do I want them to deadlift or do some kind of hip hinge? Probably. Are they ready for it? No.
Yeah.
So what is a deadlift? What is the components of a deadlift? It's hip extension, some knee flexion, lats, thoracic spine, glutes, hips. So break it down. Let's go single leg curl, dumbbell row, single arm lat pull down, bear crawl, reverse lunge. I've got 5 exercises there that I could control and do with somebody that's new to the gym and they're deadlifting, they don't know it.
Yeah.
It's the same as when you go to a Michelin star restaurant and he brings out 4 different parts and it's apple pie, but it's broken into 4 different things and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
But that tastes like apple pie. I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
But he's done that for me.
So what you're saying is these solo programs is just a fancy It's just fancy. That's all it is. It's got some nice graphics on it. It says, if you do this, and I always love when they sell new programs like this is the perfect for, reps in reserve or this. When people hear abbreviations they don't understand, it's like, oh, this is a brand new system. You've been trained for reps in reserve for years. That's what RPE is. It's just the reverse. There's no such thing as, because like when I even do my own programming, what I tend to do is I just try and look at more the psychology of how am I feeling that day. That'll tell you more about what workout you're going to do.
Yeah.
Because if you're coming in and it says, right, you're going to be working at 80% with an RPE of 8, well, I slept like 3 hours last night. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a kid. I've slept 3 hours.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
I've got to do washing as well, and I've got to go to work. And I work in a garage as a mechanic, and I've got to lift this stuff all day.
Yeah, you're not going to get that out. And even now, for all the years I've been training, if a client comes into me and said she had a terrible day or he's had a terrible day, it's like, right, what do you want to do? Because it's not about me. It's not about all them hours I spent writing If they come in and say, look, I've hurt my back, it hurts a little bit, can we do something else? But I had a leg day plan. It's like, well, no, because it's part of the program. You can't come off the program because all the progress goes out the fucking window. No, of course you don't.
Yeah.
They're paying you to actually look after them. It was like you go into a doctor and say, I've got a headache. It's like, well, how do you actually feel about that? This is my prescribed plan.
Yeah.
Like, no, go home and fucking sleep, drink some water. You'll be fine.
Do you know what you said there when you said, how do you feel today and what it is that you want? And that's the same as coaching professional athletes in America, NFL, MLB guys. They'll come in and they'll be like, you know what, coach, I don't feel too good today. And you've got this program, but you're just going to go, yeah, mate, because it's only about them.
Yeah.
It's only about them. And you got to remove that ego and that bias. And I think there's a lot of that in this industry.
Yeah, there is, because the problem is, I tell every single learner is, from now, you're an expert. Doesn't mean that you're an expert over everyone else. It means the people that come and see you, you're the expert. So you should back what you say, but also be humble about it, because there's always something to learn. Someone's going to come to you with a new problem. Don't just run at it because you know what you're doing, because you've been training back and biceps and you're doing the Ibiza stuff for 5 years. If someone's coming to you with a complex problem, research it.
Yeah, research it, or go and ask somebody that knows about it. I do that all the time. Somebody will say, this is happening, and they'll say, do you know what? I actually know somebody who knows a lot more about me. I'll ask them the question.
Yeah.
And then bring that information back.
It says more about you because you're actually wanting to help.
Yeah, you're not swapping your time for money. That's the difference.
Yeah. And so what is your sort of process now? Are you mainly in person, online? How do you run things right now?
Most of my business is one-to-one.
Yeah.
I've got like a couple of guys online. One is a German guy who happens to speak English because I don't speak German.
That's handy. Yeah.
And the other guy is one of my old one-to-one clients who went online because I trained him for so long, and he's got a young family, and it's just not convenient or financially viable for him. I never want to take somebody's money if they financially can't afford it.
Yeah.
Never do that. Like, you're not there to do that. It's not your job.
No.
This is a luxury service, and you got to realize that it's luxury.
That is the key. It is luxury.
It's a luxury service.
Yeah.
And I think it's a real disservice when people are paying you the hard-earned money, whether that's £20 an hour or £120 an hour, and you do a disservice to them by just making something up. Right? There's a difference between randomness and specificity.
Yeah.
And random just doesn't work long-term. That's why, you can do all the workouts and all of the online programs you want. There's no specificity in it.
There isn't, no. And especially with the approach that you need to take nowadays, because people are confirmation biased by natural state. So if you're not willing to put in the effort to bring your business forward, where it's an offerable service where you give someone the option to have your service, and people aren't paying usually for what they're paying for you because they like it. People buy people.
People buy people.
And doesn't matter if there's someone down the road charging £100 more because they say they've got this qualification and this, and they've done this for this long. People would rather invest something in someone who actually gives a shit. So if they say to you, I'm struggling this month, it's like, right, no worries. Well, how about instead of just coming to see me this many days a week, we do a little bit more online. It's a little bit cheaper. We can work together like that.
Yeah.
But also, if you ever need anything, you just ask, because
Yeah.
there's a difference between getting clients and keeping clients, right?
I always say that to my clients. I actually ask them quite a lot, what is your biggest, and this is like something that James Largy taught me. He said, what is your biggest problem and how can I help you? And when he first explained that to me, James Largy owns Frontline Performance in Manchester, and he was trained by Poliquin, and he said he asked that to one of his clients once, and they were like, my fridge is broken. Jim's like, right, I'll get you a new fridge. So he bought him a new fridge.
That's ours. Yeah.
And then his client stayed with him for 18 years.
Yeah. I suppose you could open up a little bit of a door then if you get
Yeah,
two
you
checks.
could.
Like, someone's coming like, the shopping was like 200 quid. Like, oh, fuck, here we go. And before you know it, you're out of pocket.
Yeah, but that's what I always said, what is your big problem right now and how can I help you?
We're problem solvers. That's our job.
Yeah,
So,
we are.
and that's the big teaching point that every personal trainer should know. You're not just there as a mascot. You're there to, what is your problem right now?
Yeah. That's what I love about this job, is the problems.
Yeah.
It's solving it. I always look at it sometimes as a jigsaw. You get 1,000 pieces, you tip it on the floor. You don't start with the Eiffel Tower in the middle.
Yep.
You build the border, or you put all the pieces into blue, white, black, the color, organize the colors. Then you look for the border, then you look for more, then you look for the middle. And if you find a golden nugget and it's the middle, stick it in there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Because you might,
Yeah.
fuck, it's like, fuck, I found that bit.
And usually it's like a domino effect, right?
Yeah.
One thing goes well, other things will fall. Because
Yeah.
my philosophy is, if you work internally to externally, so you change the wiring of your brain, try and figure out, make yourself feel good, you're going to look good by byproduct. Usually you can't work the opposite way around, because a lot of people go, yeah, I know, but if I get in better shape, I'll feel better. Not necessarily. There's a lot of people who looks good that feel shit.
Yeah.
So there's no correlation with that. And the psychology of it, you feel good, you're going to want to go to the gym. You feel good, you're going to want to get up a little bit early. You want to drink a bit more water. And our job as a personal trainer, and I don't do it as much as I used to, but everybody that I do train, do it because you want to. Don't come here like you feel like I'm forcing you to be here just because, well, I paid you this money, so I have to be here.
Yeah, I would give them the money back.
Yeah, that's not why I'm here.
Yeah. There was a guy called, I don't say his name, but he paid me to train 3 times a week, and he paid me the cash up front, and he kept moaning about coming. Then he was late. I didn't spend the cash, so I took the cash outside to the gym I was working at the time. I just started burning it. I said, I don't give a fuck about the money, mate. And he's like, you're a psycho. And I was like, yeah, but you're messing me around, mate. You've given me this money, I'm just going to burn it. Started burning £20 notes. He's never late again. But that ingrained into him the fact that I'm not here for you just to think you can pick and choose. It's a decision on you. And then I just actually gave him his money back, and we didn't train anymore.
Which is fair, because he made that choice.
Yeah, he made that choice.
Yeah, I think you cannot. People also still think that this job is not a real job. I believe that.
Yeah, I know, and it's sad because we should be deemed as professionals, because it is a professional job, And I think there's a lot of other people in a lot of other industries get banded into that same market as well, don't they? But everybody that looks at the highest level, people love sport, they love celebrities, they love everybody. Every one of them has a trainer.
Yeah, of course.
Leeds United have a trainer. The most famous actress in the world, who I don't even know their names, I'm sure she has a trainer. But people still don't think it's a profession.
I think what throws it off the most, and this is not throwing shade to, let's say, Pure Gym, for instance. The problem that I find with big corporate gyms is when they bring trainers on, they're not educating them to be personal trainers.
Yeah.
And they're filling the floor with people wearing their t-shirts. And, every so often I like to go to a commercial gym just to get out of here a little bit, change my environment. And I had a PT come up to me, and he says, so what are you doing? I'm doing this, doing that. And the first thing he said was, I can help you improve this. All right, don't do that. Don't walk up to someone and say, I can make this better for you. Because we're objective. Someone walks up to you and says, you're doing this shit, this is how you do it. Immediately, you're just going to turn off. Instead, why don't you actually treat me like a human being and say, how you doing? How's your day going? Saw you doing that. Do you mind if I quickly show you something that might help and make it feel a little bit better? Then you lead me into a conversation. And I didn't break it down for him because he didn't want to hear me telling him what to do. He's doing this himself. But I just thought that obviously these places aren't educating these people to know, just be a human being. People want to talk. You just have to break a barrier a little bit and, not come in and say, buy my shit, buy it. Holding the card machine in front of the face, going, just tap it there.
Yeah, because that's not going to work.
If you hold your knowledge ransom, no one's going to buy it.
Yeah, I think we should be sharing more knowledge. I do agree with you there.
What is your biggest gripe in the fitness industry? What grinds your gears about it?
What grinds my gears about it? I think the biggest thing is what we've kind of already touched on, is trainers not taking their clients serious. They're giving you money, right? It's a luxury service. And they're just making stuff up. They've got their hands in their pockets. You could be in the top 20% by just doing something for your client, which is checking in on them, making sure they're all right, writing a program for them, helping them with what they need that day, and not just putting them on random machines.
Absolutely.
I'd say that's probably the biggest, and it still happens to this day. I'd say it's as high as 80%.
Still, yeah, 100%. And I think that's just because from the outside in, personal training is, as people describe it, you're just giving people a boot of the ass. And what did someone say to me the other day? You're just like a drill sergeant. So I don't shout at anybody.
Yeah, it's nothing like that.
No,
Yeah.
like I'm like you said in this day, if you started training people like they train you in the military, you're not going to get any customers. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No. And that's the biggest sort of fakeness about it all, is that people perceive that's what you need. They think that this guy is giving them people the specific workouts, but he's really just making random stuff up.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. I think that's the biggest disservice that you could do for somebody.
I mean, even on the opposite side of that, when someone, I say it all the time, when someone says, I'd give you a bespoke training plan. And I always want to know what bespoke means to them, because I know for a fact, because we all do it, we have a template. And what we do is we adjust that template based upon the conversation that we had with that person. We know a structure that works, and it will change a little bit based on that person's experience level.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to bespoke, that is telling me that will fit them for life. And that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, like a bespoke suit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that this plan is so perfect it would not work for anybody else ever doing this program. You're saying so personal that it only would be useful to you. So if you got your friend to do it, he'd probably get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
That's not true, because we can't reinvent the wheel. So
True.
when people say personalized stuff, you need to be a little bit more transparent about that, going, I'm going to make it work for you.
Yeah, that's the big difference, I think.
Yeah.
And that's an ever-evolving situation, because it doesn't stay like that, does it? It evolves. And all of the programming I write, I evolve weekly. So nothing is set as months. I'll do 1 week, I'll look at all the notes, I'll look at all the reps, I'll look at everything that I've done, and then I'll load the next week and I'll decide on how that looks.
What's your biggest thing to look at a week of training? Do you look at their RPE? Do you look at their intensity? How do you look at that and know which way to go with it without having to tell everyone your secrets?
Oh, there is no secrets. There is no secrets. First of all, I would look at the notes. And what did they write on those days? This felt tough today. This dumbbell row felt really tough today, not as good as last week. I would look at that. Then I'd look at, say they were barbell squatting, if they're more experienced, and they're squatting, and their RPE's up on the Wednesday, but it was down on the Monday because they had a rough night with the kids on the Sunday. I'm then just going to look at that program and think, do I change the order of Monday, or do I let them roll with it again because I know Sunday might be the same? So what I'll do then is I'll look at the rep ranges I gave them and the RPE, and I might pull the RPEs to like a 5 or a 6 on A1, and then give them something else in the middle that's a little bit tougher. Then the squat, usually what works, I like to do is go volume 1, so 10 doubles as an EMOM at 65, 75%. And then the week after, look at something like a hard triple at a 7, and then 3 back offs at 75%, and move that around as needed. But that's obviously different for other people because not everybody's doing those kind of exercises.
No,
You know, somebody's goal might be to do a pull-up. That's always a big one amongst females.
why do you think that is?
I think because they see it as the standard of like an upper body strength in their mind. Like, if I can do a pull-up, I am stronger.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great goal, like. But then I think the mistake that a lot of guys make is to give somebody a pull-up, they think, oh, well, we should do pull-ups. And they do like reverse, you know, the band ones where they do like negatives.
Yeah.
And they do all these things, but you've not given them any of the tools to get there.
Yep.
So like, can they do a dip? Because if you can do a dip, you can do a pull-up because you're in full shoulder extension.
Yep.
Usually people that can dip can do pull-ups because can you do a dip? Look at that first. And then look at the mechanics of what that is. And then spread that out. And then every week you could add in another exercise that might get them closer to a pull-up. You're not going to start day one going, all right, yeah, we'll do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, whenever someone wants to improve the pull-ups with me, I always look at what the emulation of that looks like. So you can look at like pull downs, they're a great start because you're in a full extension. And then you're looking at stuff like your dead hangs as well. How long you have your grip for. Stuff where you're lengthening and shortening the muscle, being able to stay under that load. And also, and this translates to many other exercises, like you just said, just because you want to be good at that particular exercise, it's not just keep doing this until you're good, because,
Yeah.
you know, repeating the same thing is insanity. You know, you're not going to keep doing half a pull-up for a year to get a pull-up.
No.
What you could do is do 3 sets of this, get stronger,
Yeah.
do a little bit more, then you try to go to 1, and then if you get 1, great, I'm going to go back and then aim for 2. Because like you said, the philosophy is get stronger in the other areas, because it's like powerlifting, right? When someone says, oh, I want to get better at my squat, bench and deadlift, and then they get a program where it's like, oh, I'm doing Bulgarian split squats, and then I'm having to do floor pressing, I just want to bench and I just want to squat. And it's like, yeah, see how long you can do that for before you get hurt.
Yeah, you need the variability. And I think like pull-ups as well as that thing where you kind of have to train mid-traps. Kind of have to train traps, and do women want to train that? And what does trap training look like? What exercises you're going to give them, when you're going to give them it? And I find that those are the details that randomness misses.
Yeah. So just before we get to the end then, because I always like to know what people would say, if you could give advice to upcoming coaches, personal trainers out there, if you can give them 3 tips to do well in this industry, what would it be?
Be true to yourself.
Mhm.
Don't try and imitate, because imitation isn't validation. You know, be true to yourself. You know, stay the course. It's like to say to a lot of my clients. Number 2 would be accelerate the time. You know, have a look at who is doing something well that you like, and have a look at those people. Do they offer seminars? Do they offer face-to-face talk? Can you go and pay them money to go and talk to them? I would do that.
Pick a mentor.
Yeah. Find somebody that talks to you in your language, because language is everything. It's the limit of our world, and that's how we have conversations. Me and you are talking now. If we're talking the wrong language, then we're not going to be able to move forward.
Yeah, I love that. And not many people say pick a mentor, and I think that should be something. Even now, I constantly look for people, especially people who might have a different opinion to you. That is important.
Yeah, that's important, mate. Because that's conversation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going back to the black mirror and you're just in a face-to-face algorithm.
Yep. If you find stuff that constantly agrees with you, you're never wrong. And never being wrong is dangerous.
Yeah. You've got to have those conversations. And I think the last one probably would be, it's just smile and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to enjoy it and you have to be happy. Like, turn up with a smile on your face and be warm and welcoming. Because nobody cares about what's going on in your life because it's only about them, like we discussed.
Yep.
You're buzzing to see them. You're going to give them the best hour of their life. And that's what the job is. It's personal.
Yep. That is a perfect way to put it.
So,
So, plug yourself in. Where can people find you if they want to learn more about you? Instagram, stuff like that.
I have an Instagram called The Muscle Mechanics.
Yep.
I was thinking about changing it because it's like, that goes back to the conversation that when I first started this job, I was all about biomechanics and I was all about like anatomy and skeletal motion and everything. And now I'm not. I am, but I'm not.
Yeah, but it's also problem solving, isn't it?
Yeah, it is problem solving. Actually.
I really like the names, to be fair. I think you should keep it.
Okay, I'll keep it.
If we see it changed, obviously, no hard feelings.
No, I'll keep it, man.
Make sure you copyright because I'm out of it.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't meet you earlier. You're a really nice guy, man. It's a good conversation. This.
He's glad that people reach out like this, and we'll definitely do it again. Next time, obviously, we'll do it as a full team with Ryan here as well. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Because I thought, like, I do hide away a lot, and maybe I should just have more conversations.
I realise this about myself. I'm naturally an introverted person. If I cannot have a conversation in a day, it will be very easy for me to not have a conversation. When I get to the weekend and, you know, like on a Friday, people are like, what are you doing this week? I was like, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
I can't wait.
Love it. But that's perception of that reality is people look at you, I mean, they perceive that you're not, but you are.
I think it's a social energy that gets burnt out. I think being in a social job as a social person, I think no one actually realises till they do it. Until you're constantly having conversations, you realise how little you've got left. And you've got to have some in the tank ready because you live at home with a partner.
Yeah, totally.
You've got to bring enough for yourself.
Yeah. You have to have different hats for different times and you need to have different energies because you give all of your energy out and we are just atoms, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're just going to turn into dust one day.
Like, how much are you going to have left at the end?
Because the only thing that matters really at the end of the day is family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate your time, mate. Thank you so much for coming on today.
So much.
Thanks, everybody, and we will see you on the next episode.